Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, Londonderry Middle School teacher accused of threatening student. A Londonderry middle school teacher has been accused of threatening a student before school. Stephen Dwyer was arrested November 27 on a misdemeanor charge of criminal threatening. Police said that Dwyer threatened a student before school on November 9th. According to the police report, Dwyer told the student, "I don't believe in guns or have a gun, but if I did, I would shoot you because you have your head down and not paying attention." Police said several other students witnessed the teacher threaten the student. School Superintendent Scott Liberty said Dwyer was placed on administrative leave after the incident. In early November, Stephen Dwyer was placed on administrative leave from his responsibilities as a teacher at Londonderry Middle School pending investigation by the school district and the police of alleged remarks to students, which the district is presently unable to discuss. These allegations are currently being investigated. Meanwhile, it is important to remember that all persons must be presumed incoherent until they are proven guilty. As always, the safety, security, and well being of our students is our top priority, Liberty said in a statement. Dwyer is scheduled to be arraigned December 13th. New Hampshire joins 39 other states to effort to reduce or stop robocalls. New Hampshire's Attorney Generals is joining 39 other state attorney generals in an effort to address bothersome robocalls. Authorities said the coalition of attorneys generals is working with major telecommunication companies to identify technology in combating illegal robocalls. Officials said a key focus of the coalition is working to eliminate neighbor spoofing, a practice in which companies will call from numbers with the same area code and exchange as the recipient in order to increase the likelihood that a call will be answered. Authorities have worked to submit comments to the Federal Communication Commission to pass rules allowing telephone service providers to block more illegally spoofed calls than they were able to block under previous FCC rules. McDonald and his colleagues are working to learn what's technology feasible in combating robocalls, engage telecommunication companies in finding solutions for consumers, and determine whether states should make further recommendations to the FCC authorities, said. Maine, Massachusetts, and Vermont are the other New England states participating with New Hampshire in this coalition. New Hampshire primary source. Hour by hour, the Bill Gardner era continues. Tension, sadness, outrage, then joy in Secretary of State's office. History made. Never try to predict the actions of the New Hampshire legislature or New Hampshire politics. On any given day, history can be made, and political history was indeed made Wednesday at the State House. 8 hours after Secretary of State William Gardner got out of the car in the parking lot behind the State Library at 8 a.m. and walked into the building in which he has worked for 4 decades, he pulled off a dramatic second ballot win to stay on the job for 2 more years. And it wasn't easy. Daring woman arrested for alleged animal abuse. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
Get jingly at the Made in New England Expo. Experience the incredible array of New England-made products. Find handcrafted gifts for the home and garden. Discover sauces and spices for the cook in your life. Surprise someone with a sparkly piece of artisan jewelry. Find special Christmas gifts for your loved ones. Bring the whole family and enjoy holiday entertainment at the center stage. Come to the Made in New England Expo at the Doubletree by Hilton in Manchester on December 8th and 9th. You won't believe the treasures you'll find.
Thank you, Kevin. A Deering woman facing several counts of animal abuse and neglect. Police say Bethany Jewell was arrested following a lengthy investigation into her horses and oxen. They say they gave Jewell multiple opportunities to learn how to care properly for the animals. 5 horses and 2 oxen have been surrendered.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Texas bids farewell to George H.W. Bush with country music funeral train. Let's take a look at the video.
Get jingly at the Made in New England Expo. Experience the incredible array of New England.
A send-off fit for a war hero. Family and friends of George H.W. Bush gathering at St. Martin's Episcopal Church in Houston, saying a final farewell to the 41st President of the United States. Touching tributes were delivered by the former president's Secretary of State.
He understood that humility toward and not humiliation of a fallen adversary was the very best path to peace and reconciliation.
And the grandson who carries his name.
Yes, George Herbert Walker Bush is the most gracious, most decent, most humble man that I will ever know. And it's the honor of a lifetime to share his name.
President George H.W. Bush returning home to Texas following a service at the National Cathedral Wednesday. World leaders past and present celebrating his life and legacy. President George H.W. Bush died on Friday at the age of 94. Known for his modesty, he served the United States as a naval pilot, congressman, CIA director, special envoy, vice president, and commander-in-chief. Bush will be buried at his presidential library in College Station, Texas, next to his beloved wife Barbara and daughter Robin, after a small private ceremony in Houston.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And now let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market closed for this evening. And here's a look at your U.S. stock market. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the red and went down. Your Nasdaq closed in the red and went down. S&P 500 closed in the red and went down. Gold closed flat. Oil closed flat. U.S. 10-year closed flat. Euro/USD closed flat. And VIX closed in the green and went up. Dow rebounds from 780-point plunge, ends day just slightly lower on report. Fed may pause hikes. Stocks closed well off their session lower on Thursday after news broke that the Federal Reserve could tighten monetary policy at a slower pace than previously expected. Funeral train carries George H.W. Bush to burial next to wife and daughter. The nation's farewell to President George H.W. Bush is ending in his adopted home state of Texas, when after a more intimate service for family and friends Thursday. He will be buried where he had a long hoped to be, next to his wife Barbara and their daughter Robin, who broke their hearts when she died at the age of 3 of leukemia. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Thursday night, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night, everyone. Bye.